Help with bounce back loans. Struggling to pay? Hello there. My name is Andrei Smolenka. I'm a debt advisor and director of Insol Baltica. Today, a Facebook Live about bounce back loans and those cases when you've taken out a loan for your business and unable to make the payments, perhaps right now or in a very near future. We're going to talk about bounce back loans today and a few cases, what you can do to negotiate with your creditors or perhaps to get a write-off of your bounce back loan. About cases of fraud and what can be done if your bank is demanding the full repayment of bounce back loan immediately. Unfortunately, these days, more and more businesses are struggling to repay all sorts of credit, including bounce back loans. I will make a few recommendations about how you can protect yourself and your business. The format of Facebook Live is I prepared some, in my view, interesting and useful information that you should be able to apply directly to your business. However, your feedback is crucial. Comments. Facebook Live is about you writing comments, writing your questions, and I will answer your questions during this conversation. Well, let me start by introducing myself. I'm Andrei Smolenka and I'm a debt advisor. For the last 15 years, I've been assisting clients who are in financial difficulties to resolve their debt problems. The office of my company is based in Manchester, England. Together with my team, we advise self-employed company directors and consumers about the best way they could negotiate with their creditors if they have debt problems. Also, we assist our clients with debt write-offs using government-backed schemes as bankruptcies, individual voluntary arrangements, and in regards to the companies or limited companies, we can assist with company liquidation as well. In the last 15 years, I've gained particular experience in a few fields of business. The first is construction industry. Many of my clients are self-employed construction workers or company directors who are involved in construction. The second group of clients that I deal with on a regular basis are transport companies, companies that provide haulage services, or drivers, self-employed and limited companies as well. The third group of clients that I normally deal with are beauty, involved in beauty salons, nails, hair, beauty, and so on, beauty treatments. Based on my experience, I will provide some insights about how your business can deal effectively with bounce back loans if you're unable to make the payments. Let's start with giving a little bit of insights on what bounce back loans are. Bounce back loans are a government-backed scheme that provides affordable credits, affordable loans to businesses in the UK. I'm sure that most of the business people have heard about bounce back loans and perhaps they already have taken out some of that form of credit, between £2,000 and £50,000. The repayment term up to 6 years currently, and interest rate 2.5% per annum. Those are very, very competitive forms of credit for business in the UK. So that scheme has already finished. So who had the chance, the businesses who had a chance to make application and obtain that form of credit have already done so. It started 1 year ago when the COVID broke out. Some of the businesses who took out loans a year ago they already have to start making monthly payments. On average, if your business took out £50,000, then you would need to make payments between £840, £860 a month, starting probably from this month. If you took out a bounce back loan later on in the year, then you still have some time. What options you have if you need to make bounce back loan payments but unable to do so? The first option that you have, you need to remember about so-called grow business scheme, or pay as you grow scheme, as they call it as well. What that means, let's say you need to make a first payment of £850 next month, let's say in July. You know that you will not be able to make those payments. You can make an application directly to your bounce back loan provider and ask for first payment break up to 6 months. Or you could ask for the extension of your loan term. Normally, bounce back loan is given, you need to repay bounce back loan within 6 years. So first year, no payments, and then for the remaining 5 years, every month you need to make those payments. If you are granted an extension, which many businesses should be able to get, then you could extend your loan for a period up to 10 years. So 10 years, that would halve probably your monthly payments. Those two are very, in my view, effective ways of getting help, effective help if your business cannot make payments. Also, important to remember that according to the Office of National Statistics UK and British Business Bank, the main provider of the loans who lend money to banks and other companies, about half of bounce back loan applications, so out of 1,300,000 businesses who obtain the money, half of them, about 600,000, will not be able to make monthly payments to cover their debt. Substantial amounts of businesses in financial difficulties. So what does that mean? Because bounce back loan application initially was designed to help as many businesses as possible to deal with COVID-19 complications, when you completed an application form, you were asked about stating your business annual turnover, and there were no checks carried out. So they just took your word for granted. Unfortunately, that scheme was widely criticized because it was open for abuse. No banks or credit institution had a right to check whether the annual turnover for your business stated was correct or incorrect. Therefore, unfortunately, tens and tens of thousands of businesses obtain bounce back loans fraudulently. And these are the statistics. Some of the companies already being investigated by the police, but many companies will not be investigated because they classified as the so-called soft fraud. So hard fraud, it means companies were set up purposely to obtain bounce back loans when they had no right to do so. Or they made or obtain multiple bounce back loans when they had no right to do so. They use fraudulent company directors and they use other ways to defraud the government, to defraud taxpayers. The purpose of this Facebook Live is concentrate mainly on a few so-called soft fraud cases, not the hard frauds. The soft frauds, in view of insolvency practitioners or solicitors who involved with bounce back loans, is when company turnover was overestimated. For example, when your business annual turnover was £20,000 and for some reason an application you wrote it was £200,000 to get £50,000 of bounce back loan. That's that classified currently as the soft fraud. In my dealings with clients who are self-employed and company directors, I get increasing amounts of inquiries where banks stopped all the loan facilities, they stopped all the banking facilities and demand confirmation of the company's annual turnover. It can happen from time to time, not in all cases. For example, the recent client that I have, who is a self-employed construction worker, again, as he told me that he had annual turnover of about £20,000 that he could confirm, he took out £50,000 and overstated his annual turnover. He received £50,000. He spent about £30,000 for his business day-to-day expenses, paying his subcontractors, paying for goods and services, for advice, and so on. It lasted for a few months. Then he decided to withdraw about £8,000 in cash. And when he approached his bank to do so, his credit facility has been frozen, bank account as well, and bank has started investigation into the way bounce back loan money had been obtained. And that resulted in a letter that my client received asking him to provide confirmation of his company or business annual turnover. He was unable to do so. He sent a letter saying, look, I had an accountant and the accountant made this application, so please get in touch with an accountant. Because the accountant that my client had is not chartered accountant, not member of any authorized accounting bodies, bank refused to deal with that accountant and wrote directly to the client. Clients cannot provide the answer to the bank's question. Therefore, bank has the right, and they use that right, to terminate the credit agreement and demanding the repayments of £35,000 that client had spent by that time. Clients could make those payments. He had to make about £860 a month starting in September this year. However, bank demanding the repayment right here, right now. My client is unable to do so. That typical case scenario, in my view, is applicable to many, many businesses that struggle these days. Unfortunately, when you faced with that scenario, there are not many options you have. And that is based on predominantly, unfortunately, you can't prove your company annual turnover. And yes, investigation has started. The worst case scenario, the bank may consider it as a hard fraud and pass your case to the police for further investigation. The better case scenario is when that particular client, self-employed construction worker, got in touch with a debt advisor, with my company. What we offer to our clients is on his behalf, we got in touch with the bank, explained the situation that the client is unable to repay the full amount in one go, and we offered on our client's behalf to make reduced monthly payments to cover the debt. Because clients could only afford to pay about £200 a month, this is what we offered to the bank. How did clients calculate that £200? In my view, it's important to bear in mind that if you are, for example, if you self-employed construction worker and you say earn about £2,000 a month after tax, clear money in your bank account, you need to make sure that you have enough money to pay for your day-to-day, yours and your family day-to-day living expenses. You need to pay for food, for clothing, for accommodation, for utility bills, and you need to have enough money to cover your tax liabilities as well. And then if you have any money left at the end of the month, that's the amount you can offer to your bank to repay your debt. In my client's case, that was just £200. This is what we did. We offered the bank that £200. In a few other clients' cases, the one is a driver, another one is a construction worker again, we follow exactly the same process. What's important to bear in mind that since June this year, to be precise, since May, but since June is properly working, where if you are struggling financially and you're unable to make payments to your creditors, including in regards to bounce back loans, you could obtain a breathing space for yourself up to 3 months. Meaning, whilst you're looking for professional debt advice, putting your finances in order, your budgets in order, and calculating how much you can afford to pay months, you could put a stop on your creditors' debt collection and even court actions. It's called respite debt scheme. Respite debt scheme. So no payments, you will be left in peace for up to 3 months. After that 3 months' time, your situation can be reconsidered again, whether you could afford to make any payments or not. At the same time, important to remember that, in my view, the worst thing you could do is just do nothing. Just ignore your creditors' letters. Just the worst thing you could do is just bury your head into the sands, hoping that things will go away by themselves. They will not. When you are proactive, when you open with your creditors about your inability to repay your debts, and you make offers, reasonable offers that you can maintain for a period of time, let's say £200 a month, initially for 6 months, then you have a really good chance for your creditors accepting your offers. Initially for half of the year, then we need to do the review of your finances, and if you can increase your monthly payments, then you would be advised to do so. However, if in 6 months your personal finances have not been improved, then you could decrease or reduce your monthly payments to the amount you can afford. So the first important factor to bear in mind, if you receive any income from your business, you cover all your reasonable domestic expenses for your and your family life. And then whatever is left at the end of the month, that's the money you can offer to your creditors. There are a number of other options available for people who are struggling to pay bounce back loans. It could be bankruptcy. Yes, people could go bankrupt if they are unable to pay bounce back loans. People can apply for an IVA or individual voluntary arrangements, where you make affordable monthly payments for a period of normally 5 years. Every month you pay a little what you can afford, and then in 5 years' time, remaining of the debt will be written off. You can also use a mini bankruptcy called debt relief order. In principle, the same way as bankruptcy would deal with your debt, so 1 year and your debt's written off. However, the currently limit for debt relief order is up to £20,000 in debt. So if it's more than £20,000, the bankruptcy could be considered as an option as well. So there are a number of options available to you, apart from negotiating with your creditors about reduced monthly payments. Important to bear in mind, yes, those options are yours. Important to be proactive. Don't wait until the bank will pass your case to the police. Don't wait until the bank start court proceedings to obtain county court judgments. You can avoid all those steps by getting in touch with reputable debt advisor who could review your finances, help you to set up affordable budgets, and come up with affordable monthly payments. Or if no payments is available, then you could consider one, the other, or the third option about writing off your debt in a legitimate way. If you are struggling to repay your debts, you get a chance to get in touch with my company, is Insol Baltica, and apply for a 30 minutes, half an hour consultation, free of charge, no obligation. During that consultation, we will consider your case in detail. We will look at all the options available to you. We will make recommendation what in our view could be the best option to get you out of that difficult situation. And we can help you as well to negotiate with your creditors or apply, for example, for bankruptcy. This is something that we have been doing for our clients in the last 15 years. In my view, is remember to bear in mind that you need to act and don't wait until a bailiff or a debt collector start knocking on your door. What we talk about during this Facebook Live today. We've briefly discussed what bounce back loans are. I also mentioned about the cases of soft fraud in regards to bounce back loan and hard fraud, and I explain what the difference is. In case of soft fraud, we mainly concentrated on those cases. I made recommendation on what you can do to resolve that situation in the best possible way. I also gave you a bit of recommendation on options available as negotiating with your creditors, bankruptcy, individual volunteer arrangements, and debt relief order. I also gave you a recommendation to get in touch with my company, Insol Baltica, if you want to get a half an hour free, no obligation consultation. I hope this Facebook Live was of some use to you. And now you are better equipped to make a well-calculated business decisions that would help you to keep your business afloat and perhaps even profitable. My name is Andrei Smolenko. I'm a debt advisor and company director of Insol Baltica. If you find this Facebook Live useful, please share this Facebook Live on your page so more people could get proper advice and information about how to deal with bounce back loans in the most efficient way. All the best.